now. Alright, so to start off, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Dylan Saylor. I go by the tag Voorhees for the Smash community.
Alright, and you play Melee?
Oh yeah, I've been playing Melee since about November or December 2007. I don't remember the exact date anymore, but it's been a while. I've been playing since I was about 15.
Alright, how do you approach the game?
I think it's important for players to understand that whenever you're playing the game, you have to focus not necessarily on who you're playing or like what's going to happen after you play, win or lose. So you can't really think about any of that kind of stuff. You got to kind of just think about the important parts of the neutral game mostly. So like you're going to be thinking about positioning, that kind of stuff. Like there's a pretty famous set, and at least where I'm from, where the first time I played against Gianna was down in Kentucky, and I actually in Grands was down like the whole set, and even in stocks every single game, but like I didn't even realize it. People told me later. I was like, yeah, I did pretty well. I think I was playing pretty well. Like, it was really close because you were down the whole time, and I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. I don't even remember, because I focus on like the characters that are on the screen and like where they are. That's about it. Like, and obviously I have those mean stuff to me, and then I'm thinking about what that stuff means. But for the most part, my focus isn't on who I'm playing or like what I expect to happen after that game or anything like that. I'm just focusing on the game itself. You gotta focus on the game, stock by stock kind of thing. You have to definitely focus on that.
Alright, I'm gonna move.
Bad lighting?
No, lighting's fine. I just think we need a new angle. Because it looks better this way.
Should I turn too?
You can if you want. Is there any thing you wish people would do more often in terms of maybe a technical aspect or a mind game aspect? Like any specific element you think people should implement better?
Yeah. Ever since I started playing with the Purdue crew, which is pretty much since I started, so I'd say as early as about 2009, I found out about light shielding, and light shielding is just like, it's such an underutilized technique, both in terms of like just like hard light shielding, or even light shielding to different degrees to get different angles on like hits and stuff. It's just super good. No one uses it ever.
Alright, how did you get into competitive gaming?
I've always been a pretty competitive player in general, just like with what I got out of playing games. Whenever the first system I ever played was probably either the Super Nintendo or the Sega. We had both of them about the same time, and one of my favorite games to play was Super Street Fighter 2 with my brother, and like we would play for nonstop. Like that's pretty much the only thing we did for a solid 2 years, was just play Street Fighter together and stuff like that. And like just the competition alone is what I enjoyed. Like, I didn't enjoy graphics. I don't really enjoy storyline for video games too much. I don't really play any other games nowadays besides Melee, but I just like competing mainly. And funny story about that with my brother is whenever we first started playing, I asked him, like, who's like the worst character? And he's like, Pichu is. I was like, oh, okay. So I put a little bit of time into Pichu, and I started doing pretty well against my brother, even with the worst character in the game. And then eventually, like, we just stopped playing, and he gave me his GameCube. Maybe as a result of that, I'm not really sure. I never asked him, but so maybe I may have inherited my Melee experience, like in terms of just having the system to play by myself, because I picked Pichu as my first character. But from there, I just played with friends, and then being as competitive as I am by nature, I just wanted to get better and better, and then went to my first tournament at Purdue and got beat up by Trail and those guys, and it was eye-opening, and I just wanted to get better. So pretty much it.
All right, this is a question off of the not on the list, but I'll say it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If Cunning Kitsune became active again, who would Indiana's top 5 be?
It's a little tough. Obviously Cunning, probably in the number 1 spot. And then it depends on whether or not you consider Tink active also.
Let's say he is.
If Tink is active and Cunning is active, I'd say the list probably goes somewhere along the lines of Cunning at number 1, Lance at number 2, and then the next 3 is going to be Rick, Tink, and myself, and that order is just going to be day
Tough.
by day. It's just day by
It's
day.
gonna be tough.
It's whoever's playing well. I don't know. It's a really tough one. But
Nice.
our top five's pretty solid. Honestly, I feel like if we played against like Illinois with that 5, we'd probably do really well. And then most states, I think minus Michigan, we could go toe to toe with about any state in the Midwest.
In the Midwest,
obviously.
of course. Can't really compete outside like that. All right, cool.
California's so good they have to split up into 2 regions.
That's also because they're so big.
Yeah. Which is why they're so good.
All right. So, lastly, where can people reach you if they want to know more about Voorhees?
I mean, I don't really. I technically I have a Twitter. I don't think I've ever made a post on it, but I might look into doing that a little bit more. I'm thinking I might end up streaming at some point, just because I feel like people who know me and would actually watch it would be able to benefit from it if I, instead of sitting down and just playing friendlies, could spend my time focusing on like analyzing games and like just like going over technical aspects of the game, that kind of stuff. I feel like people could learn from it. And also, I've heard now about, I think 3 times people have said that they regularly watch my stream, which doesn't exist. So people who watch my stream and it doesn't exist, I'm sure I could probably get
Some
viewers.
people,
Yeah.
when it does exist.
Yeah, when it actually exists, I'm sure I could get those guys and then maybe some more. I don't know. Other than that, I'm listed as a mentor for Fox on Smashboards, which is pretty outdated. Not really many people use it, but I just get messages all the time on Facebook asking about Fox stuff. So
The board is outdated?
yeah, I mean, not like the website in general, but like the mentoring system
Section.
Yeah, like the last post I remember even saying was like, "Does anybody here still want to help people?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude." And
Just
so like
waiting.
I'll just get people to add me on Facebook, and I'll be like, "Hey man, I saw you on the Fox boards and stuff, and I have questions." Like, sure. So like Facebook's really easy to get a hold of me.
Okay.
But,
Cool. Any last words you'd like to say?
I don't know. Indiana's getting a lot better as a whole. We're getting some of our players that go to events and just kind of surprise people, especially Rick. I think Rick does it on a more impressive scale, but I think a player who does it more consistently lately is Onisser.
Onisser is very...
Onisser has been upsetting people like crazy. We went down to an EXP, and he got, I don't remember what place he got, but he beat Scythe, he beat Hindog, and he beat Alchido.
That's pretty good.
Those are pretty solid players. I don't know, maybe people were just off that day because somehow I got 3rd place despite having a broken controller and a fever. So maybe Illinois is not as strong as we thought, or they were just playing off.
Well, I mean, they kind of keep to themselves nowadays.
Nowadays, that's true, they do.
They just kind of do their own stuff with them. They don't really travel much.
Yeah, I mean, that could be it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Vero got like top 3 at Rubicon.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been taking games off him at all at that point. But I mean, he's very good. I feel like that whole day everyone was just off. Except
What,
for-
the EXP?
Yeah, like, I feel like everyone was playing bad. But I don't know. I think like Onisser and Rick mainly are like, because everyone expects Lance to do well. Everyone kind of expects me to do well. I've always been like somewhat of a joker in the Smash community until recently, because I've always just been like this highly technical Fox player that just does wacky shit that normally people couldn't do. I was wave shining out of Shield in 2009, but I mean nowadays the tech skill that I used to possess is like, it's pretty standard. So like I had to focus on being good instead.
Rick surprised me personally, coming into the community at around the same time he did. And actually, Onisser, Rick, and we all entered the community actually around the same time.
Yeah.
Around the same time. Like,
True.
what was it? First Date was a lot of our
Yeah.
first real tournament.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're leaving me in the dust.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I don't know what Rick does outside of Smash, but I know what helps Onisser is that he, at least for a while, didn't have a job yet, and he was in high school, so he had a lot of free time compared to like Lance and I.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if Rick does, but from what I understand, his family's pretty well off. So I don't know if he's going to school or something. He's just on summer break, but I feel like he has a lot of time. I feel like he has a lot of time to put towards the game that he loves.
True.
But
although even coming in, he had a lot of natural talent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember a time period where Grayson and I would just like play secondaries and just like practice with Rick, and he was just a space animal that was pretty fun to combo because he kind of knew what was going on, so he'd push our secondaries, and now it's like
you can't do that anymore.
Oh, I wanted him to be here. I wanted him and Lance to both be here.
You know what? That's just a shame.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought Lance was coming too.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wanted those two specifically to be here.
Yeah.
Because here lately, I have lost every set to
Falcos,
Lance, to Rick, and to Reeve.
Oh yes, Reeve.
So I've been thinking and trying to get it under control. And last weekend, I battled one demon and won. So
you definitely trumped Reeve with that Pika pick.
I want to win a tournament with all three of them there. That's my goal.
It's not
even that I want to beat one of them. I want to have all three of them there when I do it. That's what I want. But
I do like how in Indiana we always have, like, even if you consider Cunning Kitsune inactive,
yeah,
still our top 5, and well, top 4 especially, but our top 5 always battle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not clear. Depends on the day.
I think
depends on the
I
week.
mean, here lately, Rick and Lance have been going more toe to toe than Lance and I have. Lance hasn't lost a set to me since I think Salt Shaker.
Really?
Yeah, he's been pretty dominant over me.
But if they weren't trunchings, like,
no,
you definitely held your ground.
Yeah,
but
I mean, we usually our sets, most of our sets go set 1 goes to game 5, and then set 2 he wins 3-1. And that's just a testament to how good he is at adapting.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I don't know. I got it. As long as I win the first set, maybe with another set, I'll be able to keep up.
All right. Well, I think teams is starting, so we should head back.